about Mr. Gay World? Mr. Gay World competition is a space for gay men across the world to amplify their purpose in the sole pursuit of equal access to human rights, inclusion, acceptance, and tolerance. And this year's title is owned by Jose Lopez of Puerto Rico. He won over Mr. Gay World USA Tony Ardolino, right? Yes. He's been around a lot. I remember him. From Maine. Here's the video.
Mr. Gay World 2022 is Puerto Rico!
Congratulations to the king!
Mr. Gay World 2022 and all Prince.
Question number 3 with a Bacardi Cola shot. I'd swallow that. Mr. Gay World gets it right when they choose Puerto Rico over New England.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
They did that right.
Cheers.
Yeah.
They
Salud.
did do that right. I mean, who wants un huevo sin sal? You're definitely gonna go with the person who has flavor, texture. You got look at this gorgeous brown man. Okay, look at the texture on his abs. It's gorgeous.
Look at his arms.
So if you guys don't speak Spanish, Jonathan said, who wants eggs without salt, right?
I knew that part.
I don't care what he said.
I didn't care either. At that
I didn't
point.
care either.
I was feeling the flavor. So it didn't matter what he's selling. I wanted all that flavor.
And the bitch is like, yep, I got it. I got the salt. Whatever you need, I got
Tell
it.
me anything you want, but say it in Spanish.
He's gorgeous.
Every time I see the American in that costume, I want to just retch because
It's a red flag.
it's awful. Like every time the Mr. Gay World sends the United States, the fact that we don't have a culture is so apparent versus every other world that they send. I think the last time they did it, the guy had on like a bedazzled Superman costume. It's awful, and it makes our country literally look like you guys have no culture.
But we won.
No. Puerto Rico won.
What do you
Not
want?
the United States. The United States was in it as well. It was the United States and Puerto Rico.
And Puerto Rico. Right.
So
Yeah, but Puerto Rico's a commonwealth. It's like being
I know
part of the
it's
U.S.
in itself. That's like
But I get what you're saying.
That's
Like
a whole other comment right there,
Yeah.
right?
But I think also, so, these international contests, very depending on how they're structured, having been someone who competed in international contests, can be, we can have people from the same state or from the, same part of the world or the same part of the country. However, and so, but what I love about it is the fact that we finally have a brown person, besides the Philippines who've been running.
They won 4 years in a
They've
row.
won 4 years in a row, and then we had someone, from
Wow,
the
4 years
states.
now?
4 years in a row.
To take it, and the fact that he has some flavor, some true flavor,
Yeah.
and the fact that having volunteered at the U.S. when it was here, I love the fact that this guy just seems like you said all the hotness, not taking on the American flag. Like we're so much more than the American flag. Let's dive into true culture. Let's dive into who we are as people, and we can't have that conversation until we start looking at inclusivity and making sure that you're represented. But at the end of the day, I salute anyone who decides to take themselves out of their brand, their head, and compete on the international stage. So that's awesome for him.
Bravo to
Well, and
all
he,
of
I mean,
them.
and they had to compete in a bunch of different ways, and
Yeah.
so the Mr. Gay World who won, Mr. Puerto Rico, he won in best social media presence, he won in best national costume, he won in best sports challenge,
Yes.
and a bunch
Best
of other
swimwear.
and best swimwear as well.
Yeah.
One most
Our
popular.
favorite.
And let us not forget that number 3 is the trans man, the first trans man to be in that
right.
contest. And so I applaud that alone within it. But let's go back to best social media presence as a way to rank ourselves.
I mean, that is
That's
It's part of it.
That's part of it.
Yeah. What was the sports? I mean, what does that entail? Is it you have to do something sporty?
You looking
You
to
have to-
apply?
Or you have to dress like you're doing something
Sports. No, literally, yeah.
I'm wearing a
I
crop
know
top
when
and
I
a
wear
jock
my
strap.
yoga pants and I'm going nowhere near yoga,
Yeah.
and I don't go, I'm like all dressed out like a sports bro. You going to the gym? No, bitch.
I'm taking selfies in the
Taking
mirror.
selfies. That's what I'm doing.
They had drag competitions too. They have a sportswear competition and drag ones.
I love it.
How good you
I
are.
love it.
So was it more of like an athletic wear competition?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
And I was
okay.
all for all the categories. My thing is, again, how you show up on that day for your people is what counts. When you do a social media presence, I might not be that person who does that, have the time for that, Cal, who's busy. But get me in front of the camera, get me in front of my people, and I can shine. And so those are the things that I was kind of unnerved about. Well, how do we rate someone on that? That's more subjective versus opinionated versus actual, how does that person show up? But nonetheless, I mean, I
Well,
agree
isn't
with
it all really opinion? Sorry, isn't it all opinionated? Like
No, because they're
for a
actual-
panel,
Right.
And you come out in a bathing suit. I'm like, he's
It's based on opinion.
Yeah, you might look at the
Yeah.
bulge. I might look at, you know, his
But
legs.
a good
That's
contest,
fine,
a
though.
good contest will tell you parameters in which you are to score on. Meaning that does the swimsuit fit right? Does this look, you know, how does it well? Is it tags hanging? Is it those kind of things?
Yeah.
Are good. Now, everyone doesn't do that.
Right.
But
Yeah.
you know, and we talked about I think last 2 weeks about how opinions ruin these kind of events, and so hopefully that wasn't the case. But nonetheless, they got it right when they missed Puerto Rico.
So with
And-
your
and I thought that you would have liked him a lot because, like, his talent was that he did a social impact project addressing body dysmorphia.
Absolutely.
And you know what I mean? To do that on stage in our
With
community,
abs.
It's so needed.
Imagine
it's so needed.
doing that with abs.
Yep.
Imagine doing that and looking good.
know.
Right.
Another
Right.
skinny legend doing a thing
Yeah.
on body dysmorphia. Can you
Yeah.
imagine? Wow, how diverse.
But you have to think though, because technically that is actually very prevalent even for people that appear fit. There's a wonderful
Correct.
book called The Adonis Complex that talks about the obsession.
There's a movie
that,
as
yeah,
well
that
on it.
drives these people, even when they're fit, even when people look at them and are like, oh my gosh, they are obsessed, and it ruins their lives sometimes.
The pageant syndrome.
Well,
Pageant
yeah,
syndrome,
when you're in a
Pageant
pageant,
syndrome,
the
that's the
pageant
thing.
syndrome.
yeah,
Yeah,
when you're in it,
absolutely.
I mean, it's heightened because everyone's really judging you based on your look.
On your look.
Fully.
You know what I mean?
But
I think-
everybody's got a different opinion, though, Jonathan. So that, I mean,
Right.
that's totally got to be
See,
a
what
mind
happens-
screw.
It's the social, like, I'll give you a good example. So this happened yesterday. One of the bachelors just came out with like a whole thing about body dysmorphia too. And he literally said that when he got put on the show, that walking into the room with the rest of the guys, and his words are the what resonated. He said, it was like walking into Instagram. And I was like,
I can see that.
oh, this is how people's mindset is nowadays.
Wow.
Because
I don't use
it's
that.
not even a subjective thing anymore. It's like
No.
we have a whole new, you know, it used to be what, magazines, things like that. Now we have this new
Everywhere.
thing telling you what is.
what is
And
pretty? What is hot?
pretty.
What is
And I
good
will share
looking?
with you, you know, when I competed against 60 other people, and there was a handful of us that were black and brown. And the moment you walk into the room and you see specs, it's like, I am not the norm. I have to work harder. I have to do. And so you think about, so I'm already in my head about that. So think about someone who already fits the norm. How do I stand out more? What do I have to do? And so it's that, again, that pageant syndrome of how do we set ourselves apart to be noticed and to last longer, because these folks make their living off of competing in various places and hoping for that media deal, hoping for that opportunity to get some extra money.
And again, that's another thing that ain't cheap. It ain't
No, it's
cheap to
not.
Oh, it is
compete
not
in those,
cheap.
in
You gotta
those
travel, you
pageants.
gotta customize, you gotta have things fitted, you have to have things remade.
You talk like you know. You've been in a pageant with that beautiful body of yours?
Not yet. Nobody's accepted an
Oh my gosh!
application yet.
By the way, now you said that,
Why
they are,
you on his belly,
But-
please?
well,
yeah.
they are accepting applications for Mr. Key West.
I was going to say the
Bear,
same thing.
right?
I can't afford it.
We'll
You
sponsor
need to
you.
fundraise.
It's happening. I was sponsoring Cameron Glass to appear in Key West
You
Bear.
have to
It's
fundraise.
heard
We're
right
going to
here.
talk about that.
Yes.
We need
Absolutely.
to. All right,
Say that
let's.
with some more
move on.
confidence, and then we'll work.
Then we'll think about it. We'll start.
We're
We'll,
going to speech. Yeah.
I'm sorry, are you competition? What's going
I'm
on?
not. Look, I know you guys
Jonathan,
think I am
Jonathan's
gorgeous.
your bear coach. He's your
Yeah.
bear confidence.
he could be your
coach.
mentor. We'll start you a GoFund. Don't worry about it. All right.
LGBTQ+ news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ+ community.